Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Now on Prime Time, it looks like all RISE applications may not be coming out at the end of the month as was anticipated. Plus, our Nestor LeConte was among local media meeting with the Navy's highest-ranking officer today. And the solar farm contractor behind the Marble Cave devastation may not only be facing serious fines from the Guam EPA, but also actions from Uncle Sam.
Hafide, good evening, everyone. Guahusi Isaiah again, and thanks for tuning in. It looks like the much-anticipated All Rise applications will not be out by the end of the month after all. After appearing today on The Link, Revenue Tax Director Daphne Shimzu says she had to meet again this week with the Attorney General's office to clear up some legal questions.
The number one question that we asked, and I think I asked multiple times of the OAG, is does the Director of the Department of Revenue and Taxation have the ability and is given the authority legally to make adjustments to what's required in the law in terms of the documents? And the answer was no.
In particular, there are still questions about how to proceed with merit verifications and eligibility requirements and qualifications for dependents. Shimzu says they plan to work over the weekend to come up with the final guidelines, but she still couldn't say specifically when all RISE applications will be available.
I was hoping, and even last week, I was hoping that maybe we may have an application, if not this week, then by first week of August. But at this point, it's difficult to say because without having final guidelines or rules for the implementation, it's difficult for our systems people to finalize how the programs are going to work.
Meanwhile, senators will meet in session on Monday and are expected to pass a bill to provide Revenue Tax with more flexibility with RISE Act applications. After 17 pay periods of not receiving COVID-19 response differential pay, the Mayor's Council of Guam is expected to receive funds from the Department of Administration today. DOA Deputy Director Bernie Guinness gave an update Friday regarding the COVID pay, saying that the accounting team had completed the processing of the MCOG timesheets on Thursday.
So that hazardous pay will be paid out. The EFT is going to be processed out for about a total about like $276,000. That's the gross amount that was given to me. So again, there's about 17 pay periods that is remaining for the MCOG. So we were able to work on the 9 pay periods. And then anything after that, after this pay period, we'll go ahead and continue working on that as well.
According to Guinness, DOA has also processed hazardous pay for Customs and Quarantine Agency from late March to the current ending pay period, totaling about $58,000. She said they could be getting paid today as well. The governor had allocated federal discretionary funds. However, Guinness clarified that it was not money from the American Rescue Plan. Power rates are set to go up starting Sunday for the average residential customer, but to ease the impact to ratepayers, it will be phased in over the next 4 months. The Public Utilities Commission last night approved GPA's request to increase the fuel surcharge known as the LEAC.
Because of the pandemic's financial impact on families, GPA has held off on fully recovering its fuel costs for the past year. But with rising oil prices, it can do so no longer. PUC Administrative Law Judge Attorney Fred Harecki.
The under-recovery for GPA had grown over the last 6 months from about 13 million up to 32 million. But the PUC decided, because of current economic conditions and the situation of ratepayers, that a phased-in approach would be appropriate.
Starting August 1st, the LEAC will increase from 11 cents to 13 cents per kilowatt hour. In October, it will go to 15 cents, and in December to 17. That even factors in some $15 million from American Rescue Plan funds that the governor has pledged to help keep down rates.
Even with that 15 million at the end of the period, there would be a 7 million under recovery. So that means that for the next LEAC period starting February 1, 2022, that under recovery would have to be recovered. The commissioners appeared to be confident that the governor's promised that amount and that she will come through.
GPA's fuel surcharge is evaluated every 6 months, but Harecki says in some cases it can be revisited sooner.
When the under recovery either increases or decreases by $2 million, GPA can come back to the PUC for a reassessment.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Late today, GPA provided a further breakdown of the rate impact for the average residential bill. For August, it will be $23.29, and for October and December, it will go up $20. The Navy's highest-ranking officer, Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Michael Gilday, is on Guam and held a briefing with local media today. Admiral Gilday spoke on the importance of Marine Corps Base Camp Blaz, which is expected to become fully operational in a few years. It is the first new Marine base to be built in 70 years.
As we expand our footprint, that we're doing that in a way that's completely respectful of cultural concerns and environmental concerns, then we're destined to fail. And so these projects have to be a win-win for the people of Guam and for the Department of Defense. And I think that we, in good faith, we've shown we can do that. My wife Linda, who is here with me on this visit, was up by Camp Blaz yesterday in that construction. And one of the things that she talked to me about afterwards was the fact that we are growing the indigenous plants of the island of Guam so that we can transplant them. So in other words, for a tree that is cut down, we're committed to planting a tree. And so we want to do that in a way that respects those concerns. Likewise, when we come across archaeological items of interest as we work up at Camp Blaz or the soon-to-be Camp Blaz, that we actually have altered construction plans to respect, for example, some grave sites that we have come across.
Our Nestor Lecanto will have more on his briefing Monday. Hundreds of airmen are currently on island for Operation Pacific Iron 2021. Military aircrafts flying in unison and conducting various simulated combat flight operations is surely a sight to see. Salah Matanani has our next story.
The Guam International Airport Authority, along with the U.S. Pacific Air Forces, is in full exercise mode. More than 35 aircrafts and approximately 800 airmen were deployed to Guam and the CNMI for Operation Pacific Iron 2021. The hub and spoke exercise is in support of the 2018 National Defense Strategy. GIAA Executive Manager John Kanata explains.
Anderson Air Force Base is a hub, and you have different locations around the region as a spoke. GIAA, Guam International Airport Authority, is a spoke.
It allows airmen to demonstrate their ability to adapt and execute flight operations to real life. Just 6 aircrafts are operating out of GIAA, but they're also being hosted at Anderson Air Force Base and Northwest Field.
Just in case real-world events take it where they have to operate out of Guam International Airport Authority. It's a learning experience. It's the first time in a long time that we've had these exercises to Guam. First time that we had F-22s. Those are the most sophisticated fighter jets, air support area fighter jets for the U.S. Inventory.
GIAA's role in the exercise includes ensuring fuel is readily available for the aircrafts and that aircraft crash and rescue firefighters are ready to respond just in case there are any issues with them coming in for an emergency landing. They must also make sure that the fighter crafts integrate with the commercial airlines coming in. Kanata thanked island residents for their patience and understanding as the airport does its part in support of these joint military training exercises, which will continue into the second week of August. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
The contractor for the solar farm in Manila may be facing fines from Guam EPA, but it also could potentially look at enforcement action from the feds. Here's more on the environmental mess in the Marble Cave area.
From above, it looks breathtaking, almost like a lake. But looks can be deceiving because on the ground, it's an environmental mess.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Farron Tyron wanted to see the damage for himself. A freediving teacher by profession, he decided to take the plunge.
Marbo Cave now has a layer of nastiness floating on the surface, as well as several inches deep of muck in the bottom. And I really hope that the freshwater fish, eel, and shrimp in there are gonna be okay. I don't know. Hopefully they can escape to the ocean or go somewhere else. That line is filled up to here with mud and nastiness.
Tyron last visited Marbo Cave a month ago, and this is what it looked like then.
You can see it's nice and clear, no mud staining the walls, no mud staining underneath. It's mostly just this nice white limestone like you'd expect in there.
What once was crystal clear, this popular and historic attraction site left a muddied mess.
It's just really, really sad.
Some would even say mad, like private property owners who live and have land near the solar farm. Access roads to their property damaged from the stormwater runoff from the solar farm, which was cited by Guam EPA for failing to follow through with its approved erosion and sediment control plan. As reported, the company could have been fined up to $18 million, but Guam law only allows a maximum penalty of $125,000. The solar farm project is part of a $200 million deal with the Guam Power Authority's contractor, the Korea Electric Power Company, or KEPCO. Consolidated Commission on Utilities member Simon Sanchez says they are very concerned. He adds the contractor must address the stormwater runoff and restore the site. Quote, they can't pass on fines to ratepayers since their prices to us are locked in via their bid. It's all on them to restore, prevent, and pay the costs. And we expect them to do so or face more Guam EPA enforcement actions and fines. Also commenting, GPA General Manager John Beneventi, who says they are in communication with KEPCO and expects the contractor to comply with all environmental and regulatory requirements according to its contract. KUAM in the meantime has learned that the solar farm contractor could possibly face enforcement action from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for potential violations of the Clean Act. For now, Guam EPA is encouraging island residents to stay away from the Marbo Cave area because it is unsafe.
Late this afternoon, Acting Governor Joshua Tenorio issued a statement saying he is troubled and appalled to see the current state of Marbo Cave. He adds that although a citation was issued, it's critical the entities responsible are held accountable for their reckless and negligent actions, and we must remain vigilant in our efforts to protect and preserve these invaluable land and water resources for the use of our people and our future generations. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Summer is here, and at Cars Plus, we have the perfect Jeep for your summer adventures. Whether you're going off-road or just getting ready to hit the beach down south, make this the summer event you find your Jeep, like the 2021 Jeep Wrangler or the 2021 Jeep Gladiator, equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. Call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to schedule a test drive today. Cars Plus, driven by you.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
After serving as the superintendent of Catholic schools for 2 years, Dr. Juan Flores has confirmed with KUAM News that he is resigning for personal reasons. According to Archdiocese spokesperson Tony Diaz, Flores' resignation goes into effect in the middle of next week, and a search for his replacement will begin. In the last 2 days, public and private schools administrators met at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort to discuss how to spend federal funds accordingly. Here's more on this report.
As a requirement of receiving $500 million in federal funds, the Guam Department of Education's Federal Programs Office held a Consolidated Grant and American Rescue Plan outlining areas state educational agency grant award notification, implementation, and accountability workshop in the course of 2 days. GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez said the workshops were organized to maintain accountability.
So again, like maybe in past years, we still had that responsibility, but now more than ever, because there's such a tremendous amount of federal funds coming in at this particular moment in time, it's really key for everybody to understand those rules, because we know that, we appreciate the support, but we know that at the tail end, when people say, well, how did you use those funds? Were they used legally, appropriately, effectively? We have to be able to answer that we are accountable for those uses.
Shortly before Fernandez's tenure, GDOE was placed at high risk by the U.S. Department of Education for various reasons, including not spending federal money adequately and having the proper documentation to back them up. Fernandez says that these training sessions will help the department get out of the high-risk area, as they have had 8 consecutive clean audits.
But recently, there hasn't been much of an issue, mostly because we take all this time to go over every item and issue that we need to go over with our everyone who's involved. So it's not the most exciting subject matter when you're talking about federal rules and regulations, but it's very important that we have this opportunity to remind everybody that these are the rules, this is what it requires. Sometimes you might not like some of the paperwork or the timing or the processes, but we have to do this in order for us to make sure that we don't get ourselves into a situation where there's a question about the use of funds.
Fernandez said that hopefully the agency will no longer be deemed high risk by the end of the year.
FSM President David Panuelu is traveling through Guam. He made a virtual stop on the link this morning where he congratulated island residents for achieving herd immunity. He also announced the new mandate that all eligible citizens living in the FSM must be vaccinated. For FSM citizens on Guam who have been stranded because of the pandemic, he asked for their continued patience.
You see that repatriation has started. So our citizens who are out there, please know that you are constantly being put up on the list, but about 65 or so every flight, and you're on board, as far as I'm concerned. Have patience and know that we care and love you, our FSM citizens, and that's how I would put it. And then when you finally reach home, you're going to realize why this is so important, because we care about your health and your life matters, and these decisions protect lives and save lives. And so, for those who have been repatriated, they're happy to be reunited with family. Those of you who are coming on to the list, we're going to continue until we get everybody back home to be reunited with their loved ones. So.
Since May, there have been 8 repatriation flights equating to about 400 plus stranded citizens that have been able to return home. Meanwhile, President Panuelu is hoping to get at least 70% of FSM citizens vaccinated by December. You can watch the interview in its entirety on our Facebook page. The arraignment hearing has been pushed back for drug defendant Andrew Manabusan. Additionally, according to court filings, attorney Joseph Razano was appointed to represent him following a motion to withdraw from attorney Jeff Moots. Last month, Manabusan was busted in California where he allegedly mailed a package containing more than 3,600 gross grams of meth to the territory. Former DOC officer and former police officer Jose Ananich was busted for receiving it. Their cases have been sealed. Manabusan is now scheduled to appear in the District Court of Guam on August 5th. Although acquitted of the more serious charge of second-degree criminal sexual conduct as a first-degree felony, a jury found Normandi Ilaguan Penaflorida guilty of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct. He must also register on the sex offender registry. 3 years ago, he was accused of inappropriately touching a 14-year-old girl. He wrapped his arms around her shoulders, then her neck, before touching her butt. He then allegedly kissed the girl on the lips and told the girl she looked sexy. He faces up to 1 year behind bars. He is scheduled to be sentenced in October. Daiseng De Leon Guerrero was sentenced to 10 years in jail with all but 7 years suspended following his conviction in April of 2 counts of burglary and burglary to a motor vehicle, all as second-degree felonies. As we reported, it was back in June of 2019 when he was charged for a rash of burglaries and car thefts that occurred between October 2018 and May of 2019. Prosecution pushed for the 10-year sentence because of the emotional trauma experienced by the victims and De Leon Guerrero's criminal history. The CNMI government has dispatched 2 boats to evacuate 14 residents in Pagan as a precautionary measure. On Thursday, there were reports of tremors and volcanic smoke centered on Mount Pagan. The Alaska Volcano Observatory has placed Pagan in the yellow level of concern. This is categorized as the volcano being restless and seismic activity is elevated. It also indicates that a plume of gas and steam may rise several thousand feet above the volcano, which may contain minor amounts of ash. The last time a major eruption took place was in 1981. Coming up, sports with David Delgado. Keep it here. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Get up and move, Guam! Join the mayors of Talafofon, Inilahan for Haan and Minagov, a great day to celebrate the reopening of our island at the Valley of the Ladi. Saturday, July 31st from 10 to 5 p.m. Local artists, farmers, and Guam-made products will be on hand while you enjoy performances from our best cultural entertainers and musicians. Enjoy the finest food that Southern Guam has to offer. Help us open our newest attraction, the Micronesia Cultural Village. Tickets can be purchased online at valleyoftheLadi.com. Haan and Minagov is brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau, Guam Economic Development Authority, Valley of the Ladi, Jungle Riverboat Cruise, Kloppenberg Enterprises, Para Ipribetsu Itautauta, the Guam Brewery, Island Beverage Distributors, and the stations of KUAM.
Half a day.
Hi.
That will be $20, please.
I forgot my Mobile Smiles Driver's Rewards card.
No worries. You can now use your registered mobile number to earn points.
Can I use my mobile number to redeem rewards?
Sure. Just show us your photo ID or driver's license.
That's easy.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. Tonight on the show, we catch up with Olympic swimmer Jagger Stevens and asked him about his experience at this year's Olympic Games. Check it out.
I think the best word to use is how surreal was it. It was incredible. Like that everything kind of building up to this point was, I mean, it all just felt like training. You know what I mean? Training for something greater. But in that moment, like walking into that stadium, like seeing all these teams, hearing the music blasting, hearing the announcers over it, like it was unbelievable.
Jagger says there were so many emotions on competition day. He spent the entire morning and afternoon thinking about his event. Stevens says he had to not think about the race just to calm down properly.
I was super satisfied with the time that I did, because we've had a super rough year in terms of training. Guam pools have been being shut down because of COVID. It's been really hard to get those consistent practices in. I am very, very satisfied with my performance at the Olympics.
With all of the restrictions put on the athletes at this year's games, Jagger says the precautions taken all paid off.
If you want a world event to happen, you have to have world-class rules and regulations. I thought it was handled fantastically. I mean, personally, we had this thing called an athlete playbook, which was like, God, how many pages was it? I think we eventually hit like well over 40 pages of it. And it just outlined, what you can do, what you can't do, what's the protocol, how you get in the village, how you get out of the village, what's all these processes, apps you got to download, like your health that you need to register. They truly, truly, truly did everything that they possibly could to make the games as safe as possible for both the athletes and the people of Japan. And it really is hard to complain, because they did a fantastic job, all things considered. I mean, I believe Japan is in their third or fourth state of emergency, and these are the kind of precautions that you have to take place, like when you're in that kind of situation.
Being an Olympic athlete has its perks. Athletes at the Tokyo Games will be going home with some fresh gear and technology.
It's gonna sound obnoxious if I list off all the things that we were able to get, but yeah, we had sponsors, of course. Like Team Guam was sponsored by like Adidas and even Arena, which is a swimming brand. So we got some gear from them, but also just for the athletes in general, we had some really cool stuff to get. Like we got a Galaxy S21 phone, which is like unbelievable, honestly. Like I've never gotten a free phone in my life. Latest and greatest. It's an Olympic edition. That's incredible. We also got some Galaxy earphones with it that I also imagine are top of the line. We also got some shoes and stuff, and I was really stressing out the day before we left, because I was like, I have a lot more things that I need to pack.
With the Olympic Games still going on and the next games to be held in Paris in 2024, Jagger left open the possibility of representing Team Guam again.
The long and the short answer is maybe. I mean, the truth is, like, it's several years away, so anything can happen. Who knows where life is going to take me? But on a very real note, like, I'm 23 years old. Like, I've entered the adult world, and realistically, it's very, very hard to maintain that level of intensity in training while also maintaining like even the most like part-time of jobs. So that's something that's a very real thing that I have to take into consideration. So I hate that I have to give maybe as an answer, but I think maybe is a perfect answer because of just how dynamic a year can be.
Don't forget to check out NBCOlympics.com for anything you missed at this year's Olympic Games. Tonight at the Tokyo Olympics, Suni Lee looks to become the 5th consecutive American gymnast to win gold in the women's individual all-around. The Tokyo Olympics tonight on NBC.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle with Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
The Guam Visitors Bureau is offering free trolley service to residents and tourists in the Tumon area. GVB President and CEO Carl Gutierrez says the free program is to instill confidence businesses to reopen as the island begins to welcome back visitors and overcome this pandemic. The free Guahan trolley service with Lam Lam tours is daily from 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. The program is until August 30th. For the complete schedule, head on over to KUAM.com. It's a great promotion from Uno Go called Office Party on Demand, and over the course of the next several weeks, we'll be featuring the lucky winners. Check out this week's winner.
Earlier this week, the service department from AK Toyota was treated to a special office luncheon, complete with all the delicious staples of Jamaican Grill delivered right to their office from Uno Go. Jonathan Syria entered the Uno Go Office Party on Demand promotion and was the weekly winner of a feast for 15 of his coworkers.
I saw the Facebook ad and decided to enter and see if I could buy get some food for my coworkers.
The all-inclusive lunch was delivered right to Jonathan's office, courtesy of Jamaican Grill and the Uno Go delivery app.
Thank you again for the people getting this thing together.
To enter your team, all you have to do is register on the Uno Go app or website, follow Uno Go Guam on Facebook or Instagram, and send a direct message with your name, contact, and email address. The promotion continues for the next few weeks with delectable lunch offerings still to come from the Sheridan, Picas, Adjacent, Sinks Cafe, and Beach and Shrimp. Good luck!
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Coastline Creamery Birthday Club.
On this July 30th, we say Happy Herd Immunity Birthday. All right. And we start with Annie C. Salas, who celebrates birthday number 68 this year. Happy 68th birthday, Sister Annie, and we love you. Jocelyn Regis wishing my wife a wonderful birthday. Hey, God was smiling when you were born, and this is coming from your loving husband. Good job, sir. And Yulian Lee, happy birthday to you, and we love you, Mommy. This is coming from Justin, Aliana, and Zane. And belated birthday wishes going out to Miranda Burkhart Vaccaro, who was born on the 29th and celebrates birthday number 11 this year. You filled our lives with so much love and joy this summer. Best of luck on your trip back to Virginia. Ooh, travel safe. We love you very much, and God bless, say Grandpa and Grandma Burkhart. Also, Drew Michael Untalan Bamba, who was born on July the 2nd. Happy belated first birthday, Drew. We love you so much, our Drew. May God continue to bless and heal you. All our love from the entire family. You guys are awesome. It's your birthday today, and we celebrate you.
And it is that time of the week where we